Previously on Higurashi Wane Cry Kai Chapter 8.
高野さんは入江機関閉鎖後にも個人研究を続けられますか？
入江機関が閉鎖する時には症候群は撲滅されていますわ。病原体をシャーレに残し、誰かをさらって感染者にして研究しろと。個人で機材も予算も施設もなく、誰にも顧みられなかった祖父のようにホルマリンの匂いのこもった書斎で誰にも評価されず、ざれ言だと笑われるためだけに研究を続けろと。もう若さもなく気力もなく、ただの負け犬に過ぎない私に何を続けろとおっしゃるんです。
やれね、参ったな。ウグイスとヒバリの休暇を取り消して呼び戻せ。R の監視を3日前倒しにしろと我らのお姫様のご命令だ。監視体制をすべて3日前倒しにする。初日は白鷺だったな。4名体制、通話監視1、サポート1、R 宅監視1、サポート1。白鷺リーダーは直ちに指揮に入れ。あと電話設備工作も前倒しにするぞ。ウグイスの予定だったが招集には1日かかるだろう。大鳥でやる。大鳥7、工作チームを編成して今夜中に完了させろ。可能か？
もちろん。電気工作要員の訓練は十分です。
But I can't beat this conspiracy by myself. And to gain help from others, Toмотаки has to find proof. Toмотаки is in charge of our first attack. That means he's in the most danger too. It's understandable that Rika-chan kept warning him to be very careful. He should have started his investigation as early as last night. If that's the reason they've begun observing Rika-chan, I can only pray for his safety and the success of the investigation.
いやはや不謹慎だと思って黙ってたけど、おじさんさ、本当はこう思ってたのさ。こいつは最高に面白くなってきたってね。今は感謝してるよ、リカちゃん。これだけの獲物をよくぞ知らせてくれた。このひなみ沢で我が部に挨拶なしで上等を決めてくれようとはね。
Well, they might try saying hello with some bullets.
きっちりけじめを取らせてもらうよ。確かに女王感染者が私たちのところにいるのは彼らに対して大きなアドバンテージになるね。連中の目的は何？リカちゃんを殺して緊急マニュアルとやらに従って緊急措置の行使を余儀なくさせ、それを組織内の派閥争いに利用すること。そうだね。
そうなのです。リカは奴らにとって全てを吹き飛ばす爆弾みたいなものなのです。
それを爆発させて大騒ぎを起こし、それに乗じて何かを得するのが奴らの狙い。
それを爆発させないのが私たちの勝ちということになると、それはあまりいい状況ではありませんわね。
You think?
それはひなみ沢症候群は女王感染者の死後48時間で村人が全員異常行動を起こすから、そうなる前に初段を下せというそもそもの根拠の部分。つまりリカちゃんが48時間前にすでに死んでいるのに、村に何も起こらず平和だったら、このマニュアルの根本が崩れるってことなんだよ。
That's it, to say the least. Nobody really wants to do such a terrifying thing. But if they don't execute the manual, the villagers might go mad and spread to the surrounding communities. They're hesitant to execute it, but they want to keep the damage to a minimum. But what if they find Rika-chan's body 48 hours after her death? The major premise that the villagers will lose their minds within 48 hours of the Queen Carrier's death will collapse. My request for an investigation is the first step in putting a stop to their plans. So if the masterminds were influencing the chief of staff, He probably tried to shut my investigation down. But he's supporting it instead. Which probably means that the Chief of Staff isn't my enemy. In fact, he might belong to the opposing camp. No. It's hard to say if he belongs to them or not. He might just be under order from the ones pulling the strings for the opposing camp. If that's true, then the enemy has already noticed something, and it's possible that they'll start exerting pressure soon enough. So how much can I find out before that happens? I don't know much about the top brass. Still, for a Chief of Staff to get involved, putting aside if Takano-san is guilty or not, I'm certain that something extremely big is starting to happen around the Irie Institute. If the new board of directors had even a little interest in her research, she would have used the money on them, but they simply laughed on her. So Takano-san gave up on bribing them. Instead, she decided to use it now, because her research project was going to be terminated anyway. With 1 billion yen, it might be possible to bribe the mountain dogs. If she has sponsors, it'll be even easier. Her grandfather couldn't complete his life's work, but she's planning a magnificent conclusion for it. Shit. Those can't be her true intentions. Someone has to be deceiving her. Takano-san, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't notice your sorrow, even though I've been right beside you. And so it continues. Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Higurashi When I Cry Kai Chapter 8. So all we can really do is just wait until Tomotaki either gets back to us regarding his investigation, or until the enemy makes a move. Nothing more, nothing less. Really makes me curious to see how things will play out, but like I predicted in the last episode, I imagine that at least a good portion of the stuff that's going to end up happening is the worst case scenarios. So, we'll see if I'm right, I guess. But if not, then, well, I'll certainly be interested in seeing how things play out. Well, I'm interested regardless, but I'll be even more interested if things keep making unexpected turns all along the way. The preparation for tomorrow's festival is moving right along at the Farood Shrine. Vans and pickup trucks are bringing in tents and equipment, and the village youth group and some middle-aged men are unloading them.
リカちゃま、だいぶ具合が悪いらしいね。大丈夫かいの？今日も学校を休んだっちゅう聞いたんね。長引かっといいね。ああ、入江先生。リカちゃまの具合はどうですんね。
はい。ちょっとたちの悪い風邪だったようですが、峠は越していると思います。ただ、風邪は治り際が肝心です。本人たちにも今日は治ったとはしゃがず、布団の中でおとなしくしているように注意してきたところです。
ああ、そうかそうか。さとこちゃんも一緒に風邪をひいてるんか。二人で仲良く風邪だもんで、ついつい遊んじゃうんだろうの。風まで一緒とは、リカちゃまとさとこちゃんは本当に仲良しだね。ああ、ちょうどいいところに。
Kimiyoshi.
入江の先生がね、リカちゃまたち峠は越したって言うてんね。
へえ、そうかいそうかい。それはよかった。それで明日の炎演舞なんだけど、さすがに無理がね。
本人はやると言って聞かないんです。皆さんがやってくれと頼めば、多分喜んでやってしまうでしょう。ただ医者の立場としては、たとえ今日熱が下がっていても、明日は大役をお休みさせてあげたいところです。
困ったね。ああ、 ああ、お嬢さん、リカちゃまの具合ね、よくはなってきたけど、まだまだ安静なんだってよ。
So Oryu's around, huh?
そんな仕方ねえな。
Hello, Hag.
無理にやらせて祭りの日に倒れられた日にゃ、またお社様のたたりだなんて言われちまうんよ。
Still a slave to PR as always.
いや、村のみんなも心配してるよ。また5年目のただりもあるんじゃないかって言ってね。で、王城家の里子ちゃんとリカちゃまだろ。物騒な想像してる連中もいるらしいんだよ。
アホらしい。リカちゃまお社様の生まれ変わりよ。そのリカちゃまがたたりに会うときは村が滅ぶときよ。縁起でもねえこと言うんでね。
いやはや、まったくだよな。
Well, assuming that the whole Queen Carrier dies and everyone dies theory to be true, then she'd be half right.
入江先生、二人を見舞うことはできんかいね。
しばらく遠慮してあげてください。治りかけで遊びたい盛りなんです。外部との接触があると興奮してまた床を抜け出そうとしてしまいますから。
そうかそうか、それなら無理でけんな。入江先生、あの二人を頼むな。リカちゃまだけじゃねえ、里子ちゃんも頼むな。
Really? That's surprising. Oryu-san always acts as if she doesn't even see Satoko-chan. But she just asked me to take care of Satoko-chan too. I know. It's a little surprising too.
もちろんリカさんももちろんさとこちゃんも絶対に元気にしてみせますよ。お任せください。
もし間違いがあったらまたお社様のたたりなんて言われちまう。ナイリエ先生、昭和も50年にもなって人類が月にまで行っちまうような時代にもなって、まだたたりなんてアホ臭いとは思うんかいね。
思いますね。
ダム戦争の頃は確かにうちらはそれを煽ったし利用もした。でもな、ダム戦争はとっくに終わっとるん。いつまでもたたられてばっかりではいつまでたってもダム戦争が終わらんのよ。
So stop talking about it.
さとこちゃんが死ぬとダム戦争のたたりだと言われるからですか？
ダム戦争はもう村の子が風邪ひいたら心配するのが年寄りの仕事だっちゅうだけやんね。
I already know what Oryu-san wants to say. I want her to actually say it. But if I made her, she might get angry. How dare you make me say what I want to really say? This is more than enough. When she talks about the dam conflict, she doesn't just mean the war they waged against the construction itself. She's also including how the Hojo family was ostracized after it was over. She's saying that the dam conflict is over, including everything that happened as a result of it. And that's why she told me to take care of Satoko-chan.
さとこちゃんもお見舞いの気持ちを汲み取ってくれると思いますよ。
あんないたずらぼんずに年寄りの心なんざわらわら。
Well, you'd actually probably be right about her on that one, to be fair. Oryu-san left, laughing. I wasn't the only one watching her leave. Kimiyoshi-san and some other elders did the same. They all understand what Uryu-san wanted to say. The dam conflict is over now.
あの元気な里子ちゃんにも熱を出させるんだから、たちの悪い風だね。入江先生、二人をよろしく頼みます。面会謝絶だからしゃあないけど、二人に年寄りがみんな心配してるから、はよ元気になると伝えてください。
ええ、二人ともきっと喜ぶと思います。
I vow to myself. Takano-san is more than likely planning something for tomorrow, taking advantage of people's belief in the curse. I can't let that happen. The curse of Orishiro-sama will end before it can happen for a fifth time. I'm sure of that. I hope you're right for all our sakes. Uishi couldn't accomplish the 48-hour operation alone. He would need help from someone else. Uishi called up both Kumagai and the old man from forensics and told them everything.
重ねて申し上げますが、こいつはヤバい橋になります。融資ならいいですがね、懲戒だったら退職金も吹っ飛びます。
なんだ大石、お前ヤバい作戦の前にはいつも隣の雀荘に部下を集めてそう脅してるそうじゃないか。
Well, maybe the parlor next door is closed for maintenance.
いつもと変わらんのう。
そうっすよおじさん。いつものようにもっと元気に退職金が欲しいやつは10数える間に出てってくださいってやってくださいよ。そうじゃないと調子狂うっす。
You know, that smile of yours makes you look older, Kumagai. Just saying, maybe you should just keep frowning if you want to look younger and attractive to the younger and attractive ladies.
いや、本当にヤバい話なんですよ、クマちゃん。その覚悟は本当にあるんですか？
試しに10数えてみればいいじゃないですか。なら、今日は俺が数えるっす。
Uno, dos, tres.
退職金が欲しいやつは10数える間に退出してください。1、2、3。
Well, now I know how to count to 3 in Japanese. You learn something new every day.
わかりました。クマちゃんの覚悟はよーくわかりました。いや、しかし本当にいいんですね。
俺あの日赤坂さんの武勇伝を聞いてるうちに熱くなってきたんす。やはり刑事になったからには巨悪と戦いたい。それに俺もやがては赤坂さんみたいに武勇伝を誇れる男になりたいんですよ。
You got a long way to go before you can hope to match the best damn cop in all of Japan, Kumagai. A long way. Akasaka is just special.
やばい橋、上等じゃないっすか。それに大石さんの提案する作戦で俺たち一度も失敗したことないです。
If only you could remember events from previous chapters. If only.
だから俺その大石さんがいけると思って誘った作戦ならビビりませんよ。
若いというのはいいの。こいつな、あの日以来赤坂君にだいぶ感化されよっての。秘密捜査や秘密事件に関わりたいと息巻いとったんじゃ。
いや若いっていいな。それでじいさまはどうします？
わしも乗るぞい。というかそこまで言われたら会社の検視がそいつらをしょっぴけるかどうかを左右することにもなるからの。今日まで散々不養生を重ねてきた。
Well, that's not good. You shouldn't do that. You only get 1 health bar.
そうそう。この老いぼれが長生きすることもないだろう。なら男に生まれたからには最後くらい
でかい花を咲かせたいもんじゃ。
That's the soon-to-be dearly departed spirit.
やれやれ。じいさまもクマちゃんもとにかく怖いもの知らずだな。だからドラが3つめくれてても強気でリーチ入っちゃうんだよな。
何言ってんすか、大石さん。男なら降りられない時がある。どうせ切るならど真ん中ってのは大石さんの口癖っすよ。
うん、違いない違いない。
わかりました。お二人の首私が預からせてもらいます。
そうと決まればわしの方も少々準備がいる。今のメンツと機材じゃ薬物系まで調べるのは難しいからな。急いで知り合いの鑑識の中から手の空いた連中を呼びつけるか。大石、全部終わった後はちょいとでかくおごってもらうぞい。
Strip club or something, I assume.
そこは任せてください。ですが打ち明ける相手にはくれぐれも注意してくださいよ。署内にスパイ混じってるそうですから。
分かっとる。わしも伊達に人は見とらん。任せとけ。
よーし、燃えてきたっす。刑事魂本開っすよ。
It had taken Ushi all night to come to a decision, but those two had decided immediately. He couldn't help but question himself.
では私はこのままちょいと用事があるんで出かけます。クマちゃんはじいさまを送ってあげてください。
Now, old man, please don't make my prediction from the previous episode correct, where I half jokingly proposed the idea that you could be one of the spies in question, and just throw a wrench into our carefully laid plans. You could do that, right? I'm sure you can.
何、構わん。久々に男の血がうずいてきよった。これほど腕の鳴る大舞台、わしの人生でもこの年になって初めてじゃわい。ビビるどころか、ここは楽しませてもらうぞい。
ありがとうございます、クマちゃん。
Ushi thanked them after seeing them off, although they couldn't hear. Ushi stopped by a flower shop. He bought a bouquet of balloon flowers. Usually, the purple ones are the most popular, and Ushi was fond of that color too. Ah, you're fond of purple, huh? But today, he didn't buy purple flowers, but got unusual white balloon flowers instead. With the bouquet in hand, he headed to the cemetery across from the flower shop. Paying respects to the old man. The date was June 18th. The real anniversary would be tomorrow, but as Ushi had to work on Watanagashi every year, he usually commemorated on the previous day instead. It was the day before the anniversary of the death of the old man. The one Ushi considered a best friend, a brother, and father.
毎年毎年、私は今年こそはおやっさんの右腕を見つけ出すと誓ってますが、さっぱり見つかってません。
Ushi spoke to the grave. He laid the bouquet of white balloon flowers down on top of it.
ですが、ようやくおやっさんの死の真相に近づく機会を得ました。ただね、それが笑っちゃうんですよ。園崎家は関係ないって言うんです。私は毎年ここにお寮のばあさんを連れてきて土下座させてやるって誓ってきたのに、それが全くの大外れだったって言うんですよ。私はすっかり参ってしまいましたね。またおやっさんにげんこつをもらっちまいます。勝手に当たり牌を誤解してベタ折りしまくった挙句にドカンと痛い目に遭う。決めつけないできっちり手を進めてりゃ でっかい手がちゃんとできてたかもしれないのにです。私は全然進歩してません。魔女も相変わらずですよ。こんな一度思い込んだら疑うことも知らない頭の固いやつは多分バカって言われるんだろうなと思います。
Ushi already had a vague idea. The way Iria had phrased it, he could already guess. There was no dark secret behind the old man's dismemberment murder. The events that followed were separate incidents. That particular murder was an individual incident and had nothing to do with anything else. Since the main culprit was the only one who wasn't caught, Ushi needed someone to blame, and the mysterious Sonozaki family was the perfect target. The drama revenge that Ushi believed in never existed.
私は今、やばい橋を渡ろうとしてます。リスクの割に大した見返りはありません。せいぜい私というバカな思い込みを解いてくれるだろう真実ってやつを教えてもらえるだけです。ですが、なんだかやっと私は自分ってやつを許してやれそうな気がします。
Ushi bowed deeply to the grave. And then he heard footsteps behind him. It had to be someone else who knew the old man. That person can't come on the day of Watanagashi every year either, so they come on the day before, just like Ushi does. They always bring blue hydrangeas? I'm not familiar with this flower. Purple balloon flowers, and those blue flowers don't go well together. That's the reason why Ushi always picks white ones. Usually the hydrangeas are already there by the time he arrives. But as Ushi had his secret meeting with Kumagai early in the morning, he came straight to the graveyard afterward and arrived before this person did. Visiting a grave isn't a race. It's a spiritual matter. Ushi was curious about the other person who brings flowers every year, so he looked up. Well, this is a surprise. Hello, Shion. Hello, Mama. And yes, I don't remember her name right now. Shut up. Ushi stated the obvious. But, from one glance, he could guess everything. Upon seeing the hydrangeas in her arms, it all made sense. Akane! That was your name. What does it look like? Akane Sonozaki laughed as she handed a bouquet of hydrangeas to her daughter, Shion. Shion, not knowing what to do, was caught between her mother and Ushi. Ushi moved over as told, and spoke.
まさか、あんたが毎年おやっさんにアジサイを？
綺麗だろ？うちの庭のやつなのさ。やっぱり6月はアジサイさね。あんたの気境も珍しいね。白いのもあるのかい？それも涼しそうで良さげだよ。
ああ、大石のおじさま、ちょっとお花いけますんでお邪魔します。
Shion knelt down in front of the grave and got the flowers ready. She put the hydrangeas in the vase alongside the balloon flowers. The flowers looked beautiful in the vase together, reminding their onlookers that summer was about to start.
空前にしちゃいい取り合わせじゃないかい。白に青によく引き立て合ってるよ。
Well, it's not exactly a coincidence.
毎年 私が来るとアジサイがありましたからね。青い花じゃ相性が悪いと思いまして。
なんだ、なら私たち相性はバッチリじゃないかい。
そうですね。
どうしたんですおじさん。レントゲンに妙なもんでも映ってたんですか？なんか今日は嫌に神妙で気持ち悪いですね。
Oh, do you think that might be it? Since you've been good to us, I'll bring some hydrangeas to your grave too. Don't worry.
あと、うちの組の店にツケが残ってるだろう。そいつの請求書を備えに来てやるよ。
Stingy.
やれやれ、親子揃って口の減らない一家です。あいにくまだ当分お迎えは来ないみたいです。定年までもうラストスパートですが、まだまだ行きますよ。
なら結構。沖宮の一市民としては公僕の頼もしい一言で安心だね。
Their conversation should have been coded in social courtesies, yet something felt a little off about it.
しかし一つ教えちゃくれませんかね。死守同盟と現場監督のおやっさんは犬猿の仲だったはずでしょう。その二人がどうして花を備えてくれるんです？
そりゃ犬、猿さね。私たちは敵同士。
Right, Shion?
そうです。こんにゃろうはとにかくムカつくじじいでしたからね。噛みついてやったし、溝落ちに肘をくれてやったし、あと車のボディを10円玉で削ってやったり。
That poor car. Shion, the statute of limitations isn't up yet. Well, shit, Shion, you just confessed to several crimes. I guess it's prison time for you. Shion stuck out her tongue and hid behind her mother in embarrassment.
それだけ仲の悪かったシオンさんまでがどんな経緯でここへ墓参りに来てるんですか？
てか、ダム戦争はもう終わりましたし、まあその敵とはいえいろいろシャレにならないこともしましたしね。
なんだい、納得いかないのかい？終わった戦争さね。ラグビーだって終わったらノーサイド、敵味方なしなんだろう。そういうことさ。
Akane said it as though it was a normal thing, but Ushi just couldn't understand. First of all, they hated each other. They hated each other. They spat at each other. How could they even feel like bringing flowers to his gravesite? However, Connie said that it was normal. Their moral standards weren't matching up.
私にはあんたの方が理解できないね。私の中ではダム戦争は終わったことになってんだけど、あんたの頭の中ではまだ続いてるってのかい？
まさかちゃんと終わってますよ。あの騒々しいスピーカーが未だ頭の中から鳴りやまないなんて冗談。
なら園崎家が墓参りしてもおかしいことはないだろう。ほら、どきなどきな。私もお供えを持ってきたんだから。
Akane took out a small package from her bag and put it in front of the grave.
その包み、毎年見かけてましたが、中身は何なんです？
鬼ババ特製のおはぎです。酒飲みは甘いのは苦手だろうからって砂糖抜きだそうですが。
お寮のばあさんがダム監督の命日のためにおはぎを握ったとおっしゃるんですか？
毎年握って備えてるよ。あんた毎年見てるって今言ったでしょうが。
Ushi was stunned. Oryu was the biggest hardliner in the Onikafuchi Guardians. No question about that. Ushi had believed for a long time that she was the mastermind behind the old man's murder. Because of that, he just couldn't believe that she had been making ohagi every year for his anniversary. It's just kind of funny to me that If you were able to witness these two drop off these flowers and the ohagi at this guy's grave at any point prior to this year, this could have been the one thing that would have tipped you off right away that your preconceptions about the Sonozaki family and the role that you think they played in his death would have been highly suspect. That's just funny and sad all at once.
そんな顔しなさんな。もうさ、そういうのはおしまいにしようじゃないかい。
そういうのとは何のことですかな。
園崎家がダムの監督の墓前に花を供えちゃいけないとか、そういうのさ。もう昭和も60年になろってんだ。下手すりゃ数年もしないうちに元号も変わるかもしれない。そんな時代にまであんたは終わっちまった戦争をずるずる引きずりたいってのかい？
ご冗談を。もうあんな戦争はごめんです。平和が一番ですよ。
国にも悪いところがあった。反省が必要だね。でも私たちにも悪いところがあった。だから私たちは反省するよ。
Everybody's faulty. Every single person, everywhere. Even the small people.
そしてそれはそれでおしまいになったなら、あとはいつまでもグダグダ言ってても仕方ないだろう。古い時代を片付けて新しい時代を作るのが若者の仕事さね。不幸な事件があってこの御仁は死んじまったけど、もし生きてたなら私は一緒に酒を飲んで全部水に流したいと思ったさ。でも死んじまった。だからこの御仁とはもう仲直りできない。悲しいことさ。
それが死別というもんですからね。
でもあんたは生きているじゃないかい。
そうですね。私は生きてます。あんたらも生きてます。
ならあんたともいつか仲良くできる日も来るかもしれないね。
さてどうでしょうね。
こいつを住職さんに。その後は表に車を回してきておくれ。
You mean Frika's father, I assume? Akane took out an envelope from her pocket and gave it to Shion. Shion took the envelope, bowed to Ushi, and then ran off.
ダム戦争の時は小生意気なお嬢さんだと思ってましたが、いつの間にか成長されたもんです。
ダム戦争から何年経ってると思ってんだい？
She's hit puberty, and we even went bra shopping together.
いつまでも戦争状態じゃ心も体も持たないよ。それだけの時間が経ってるんだ。
それだけの時間が経ったんですね。時間は若者ほど濃密で、年寄りほど希薄になる。
変わらないのは年寄りだけさ。でも時代と若者は絶えず成長してる。そしてぼんやりしてる間に私たちは隠居して若者を見守るのさ。おつなもんだろう。
おつなもんですな。あの獅子骨の鬼姫園崎茜にいつの間にか説教されるようになったんですから。
Life is just funny like that.
嫌だね、そんな通りな。まだ覚えてるのかい？今じゃ獅子骨のレディーで通ってるんだよ。
A demon lady, perhaps.
そいつは内緒にしてくれるとありがたいね。
Never.
ダム戦争も終わったんですしね。
そうさ。もう終わったことなのさ。
The two of them watched Shion and the priest exchange words in front of the main temple building. Oh, never mind. It was a totally different priest. Both were silent, but the air between them was comforting. There was no breeze, and a cabbage-white butterfly filtered around them.
勤務中だろうけどさ。どうだい一つ、ひんやり冷酒でも行かないかい？
今日は遠慮しましょう。私も車ですし、あなたも車じゃないんですか？
そりゃ残念だね。またの機会にしようかい。
そうですな。またの機会にしましょう。
Something that had been sitting inside Ushi for a long time had started to dissipate. Something that had coagulated was melting away.
そろそろ戻ります。あなたもお嬢さんを待たせているでしょう。
そうさね。あんたとはいろいろあった気がするけどさ。これで一度パーッとチャラにしちゃいたいね。
そのあたりの生産会はまた後日に改めてやりましょう。いずれきっと。
This is so beautiful. Akane turned around with a big smile on her face. But all of a sudden, it changed into an impish grin.
それでね、大石の旦那。私たちのわだかまりがパーッとなくなったところでさ。昨日反則切符もらっちゃったんだけど、むしゃくしゃしてパーッと破り捨てちゃってさ。
That's not a very citizen-like thing to do.
これもパーッとなかったことにできないかね。
ああ、そいつは最寄りの警察署へどうぞ。私に声をかけてくれりゃ順番待ちを優遇するくらいはしますよ。
チェ、サービスの悪い人だよ。
Their laughter echoed under the blue sky. You fucking liars! There is no blue to be seen anywhere. Not even the CG picture from a few minutes ago had a blue sky. For God's sakes, get your descriptions right. Or maybe they're colorblind. Ring ring.
お待たせしましたわ、野村さん。いえいえ、失礼しました。
At the moment, I'm talking to a woman over the phone.
その後のお加減はいかがですか？
ええ、万事つつがなく、明日が祭りになりますわ。
そうですか。それは良かったです。
明日の夜、富武兄は哀れな事故に。すべて廃棄したはずの H173 が投与された痕跡を残し、どういう形であれ哀れな最後を遂げるでしょう。
ひひひ。
それはとても楽しそうな幕開けです。こちらではすでに議事録の捏造が終了しています。入江ニサが研究継続を求めて他国に研究を売り渡そうとして独走し始める痕跡です。
富武殺しはそれに組み込まれる。
そうです。理事会に対し入江機関への疑問を抱かせる最初の布石になります。そのあたりの工作は全てこちらが受け持ちますので、どうかお任せください。
それからその例の件ですが、もしもの時はいかがしましょうか。
もしもの時とも。
いえ、その富武兄が買収に応じた場合です。
富武兄の買収は作戦には含まれていないのではありませんでしたか？
いえ、だって彼は理事会の監査役です。もしこっちの味方になってくれれば、いろいろ利用できることも多いかと。
こちらの分析では今回の作戦に富武兄が寝返ってくれてもリスクの割に得るものはありません。作戦に不安要素をわざわざ加味する必要はないのではありませんか？
おっしゃる通りですわね。失礼しました。何かに使えるかと思ったもので提案しただけです。当初の予定通りに行きます。
So your attempt to offer him a way out in Chapter 7 was genuine then, through and through.
それがよろしいでしょう。それではまた連絡します。失礼します。
For a while, I kept holding the telephone receiver, lost in thought. Then I put it down and dialed a number that I had become very familiar with.
Hi. エコノミーホテル沖宮でございます。
406号室、富武をお願いします。高野とお伝えください。
はい、今お取り次ぎしますので、少々お待ちください。
The telephone operator put me on hold, leaving behind only electronic music. I waited for about a minute, and the operator came back on again.
申し訳ございません。406号室のお客様はただいま外出中でございます。お電話があった旨ご伝言いたしましょうか。
もう何度も伝言を頼んでるから結構です。富武さんはいつ外出したかわかりますか？いつ頃戻るかわかりますか？
申し訳ございません。それにつきましてはお答えできかねます。
わかりました。またかけます。
I put down the operator before the phone before the operator finished speaking. This is the third time I've tried calling him. I left a message telling him to call me back, but he hasn't. Why? Is he out taking photographs by himself? Or was he waiting for me behind the shrine where we usually meet? Who would think I would actually come all the way here, expecting him to be waiting for me? I'm even surprised myself. People are in the middle of setting up tomorrow's festival. Tents are being put up for food stalls, and preparations for various events are taking place. It's almost too noisy for me. We'll have people shouting as they work, plus the noise from the batteries for the stalls. Soon, I reached the back of the shrine before realizing it. This is probably the best view in the whole village. This is where Jiro-san and I usually meet. Just maybe, he's waiting for me here. Of course, that's just wishful thinking. God will never grant my wishes. He only has a bit of fun by testing me. I look down at the village below, letting the breeze blow through my hair. He usually follows me around while he stays in Hinamizawa. He persistently asks if I want to go out to eat, go for a walk, or take some photographs with him. But he hasn't done any of that this visit. His behavior towards me has changed. Maybe it's because he heard about the horrible impression I left with the new board of directors. Maybe he thinks I'm a mad scientist because of that incident. I can feel that he's gradually losing interest in me. But I had my own complaints too. When I don't want him around, he's so persistent. But when I need him to listen to me, I can't get a hold of him. But if I did get through to him, what would I even talk about? What could I talk to him about? Right after talking to someone about the plan to assassinate him. Why should he even answer my call? I'm simply running wildly. And when I reach the point of no return, I'll want to be forgiven. And I want him to do that for me. Just because he always does it whenever I want him to, and he shows up whenever I need him. Who would forgive someone like me Someone who has nowhere to go but hell. Would he forgive me? Out of sympathy? No way. While he'll be surprised, he'll do his job and arrest me. I am a member of the SDF after all, so what I'm doing is committing treason. I've been thinking about him a lot for the past few days. And just now, I realized something. He's not attractive at all as a man. Ouch. He has no sense of humor or good taste. Double ouch. He has nothing. Absolutely nothing. A 1, 2, 3 combo of ouch. Well, he has a belly. But there's nothing appealing about him. He doesn't care about my schedule. He's persistent, and when I treat him nicely because I'm in a good mood, he becomes even more persistent. There really is absolutely nothing good about him. Despite his age, he tells me things like how the last time he held a woman's hand was when he did folk dancing in some summer camp. Furthermore, he says those things to make me laugh. He's hopeless. But more than anything, I can't stand when he completely ignores my feelings. I want to be alone sometimes. I don't want to do anything sometimes. Yet he drags me out, completely ignoring how I feel. That's why, even when I'm exhausted or I don't feel like doing anything, I end up going with him, which makes me laugh. I always thought that just wore me out, yet I want him to drag me around. I'll probably never feel this way again. And yet, he's not here. Do I really believe I don't want to spend time with him? I think it's obvious you do. Maybe I've just grown used to his abundant affection. When he took me out on a day I didn't want to do anything, I was in a bad mood at first. But after a while, I started to feel better and found myself having a lot of fun. If he was with me now, would he take me out to photograph birds like always? Would he happily explain it all with his know-how, even though I didn't ask? That'd be very boring and troublesome. But that's what I honestly want right now. Please bother me, Birdman. Do I see my grandpa in him? I loved my grandpa. He gave me a purpose to live. I needed him. I loved Uncle Koizumi. He helped me with my dream. I needed him. After both of them died, maybe I just sought their aspects in him. Am I starving for a protector? Maybe I'm so traumatized by my parents' accident that I need to have someone nearby to watch over me all the time. Maybe I'm still immature. My inner child is throwing a fit because she can't put together a toy, saying that if it's going to be broken anyway, she's going to break it herself. It won't be just my problem. It'll bring about huge, irreversible tragedy. But that's the only way to prove the truth of my grandfather's work. That belief allowed me to prepare up to this point. In just a few days, the top members of the government will be scrutinizing my grandfather's article, and, terrified by the worst-case scenario he predicted, they'll regret canceling our research and neglecting countermeasures. As they pass their final resolution, that's when my grandfather's article will become truth, his great work uplifted, and his name carved into the pages of history. And then he will become a god, an eternal existence. And I will reveal the god worshipped as Orishiro-sama to be the Hinamizawa syndrome, casting him down to earth. I'm going to complete the 5th curse of Orishiro-sama with Jiro-san's death, as well as my own. I'll become the one who curses, not the one who is cursed. I'll be in the position to test, instead of being tested. I will ascend to godhood. I'm going to make the curse a reality, and I'm going to kick the god of this place off her throne. And then, Grandfather and I will be together forever. Gods don't get tested. Fate doesn't test gods. No grief will separate us. I will be with my grandpa forever. After that, we're going to work on our research together in that study, filled with the smell of formalin. I really pity you, you know that? But not just for the tragedy that you're preparing to take part in and help instigate. Not just for your complicated feelings for Tomatake, but perhaps most of all, your strong, sincere belief that this will actually help your grandfather achieve godhood, and you along with him. All the while you don't realize that you're just being used by people who honestly don't care about you, your grandfather, or his research. You're just going to be a pawn, a useful pawn, like all the other people that you're working to sacrifice right now. And all your work would end up being wasted. Again, I really pity you. A scene from Happier Days. Grandpa's at his desk, writing down something. I'm in a good mood, lying on my stomach on the carpet right beside him, while flapping my legs and humming a tune. I help him with his research by organizing his books, as if I were playing with blocks. To return to those times is my only wish. Of course, if I could go back that far, I'd want my parents to be alive too. If I could play with my grandpa's books, while listening to my mother cooking in the kitchen, and my father flipping through his newspaper, that would complete my happy world. It would be my ideal childhood. But that world doesn't have a door to the outside world. So I can't go over to my friend's house. Because if I did go to my friend's house, there wouldn't be anybody there when I returned. Nobody. Nobody. Because they'd all have died in a train accident. So I don't want an outside world. I want to stay in my house with my parents and my grandfather. You really are a textbook case example of how loss can really shape a person for the worst. I am a doctor, after all. I can analyze myself. I know that what I'm wishing for is proof of my immaturity. But if I know that much, then why do I still long for a parental figure in Jiro-san? Even as I plan an operation which includes his death, I'm still trying to hang on to him. If I'm going to betray people so I can become a god, then I should remain a villain until my final moments. But if I'd rather be a lonely little girl, then I should remain modest and humble until my final moments. Either way, if it is my way of life, nobody can criticize me for it. Because if I believe it is right, then all I can do is go on without listening to such criticism. But I still can't decide. So I want somebody to criticize me. Nobody has ever criticized my way of life. That's why I want to hear someone do it. I want someone to tell me my way of life is wrong. If you really need to hear someone tell you what you already know, then here's my question to you. Why isn't telling yourself that this is wrong really enough for you? Is it because you're afraid? Is it because that once you do, you'll realize how alone you are in your desire or something? Okay, I guess that's not quite the way I wanted to phrase it, but either way, I think the first question is definitely the most important one here. I want Jiro-san to tell me I've done such a stupid thing, and I want him to slap me. Such masochistic desires speak a great deal as to how I'm rejecting my present self. Am I really still longing for a parent? I'm too old to call myself immature. Even if I do, nobody else will. No matter how immature I am inside, people will treat me as a grown person. They will say I possess an adult's responsibility and proper judgment, and that they've brought me this far already. Then I'll be judged before the devil. Will I still plead not to judge my immature self as a grown-up? Am I going to act that pathetically, even in front of the devil? I'm already going to hell, yet I can't completely become a devil. I hate the idea of hell, yet I refuse to try and repent. My mind can only float in a lake of blood, drifting as I drown. If only Jiro-san was here. My mind would clear up as I played along with his insensitive chatter. Why isn't he around when I need him the most? This is the last chance I'll have to spend time with him. I hate how immature I am, becoming so insecure just because he isn't around. I found myself before the offertory box. I came here when the Irie Clinic's construction had ended, and the research at the Irie Institute was about to begin. I remember how bravely I challenged the god of this place. I was full of hope and ambition. After going through many hardships, I finally came this far. I even vowed I would become a god. I did so in front of the god of this place. I can vaguely recall my grandfather telling me a story similar to that. That's right. It was the story of the Tower of Babel. When there was only one language in this world, all people lived in one place with one will. In a display of their authority, they started to build a tower that would reach heaven. God got angry because these people had forgotten how to show respect to him. He believed all of man gathered to commit such an affront because they all shared one language and one will. So their communion was shattered. People were thrown into disorder, and they were given many different languages so they wouldn't be able to communicate with each other. And as they couldn't communicate with each other, many left, and the tower which challenged heaven fell to ruin. Something like that, anyway. I'm not sure what the lesson is, but this is what my grandfather explained to me. Building a tower that reaches up to heaven is the greatest challenge for humans, but it is also a challenge to God. To challenge God was truly sinful, but as humans we couldn't help but test that untrodden peak. It's not easy to build a tower that's high enough to reach heaven. While they're building the tower, the people will fall into disharmony and lose the mutual understanding they once started with. Their united wills thrown into disarray. This applies not just to a group of people, but can be said about one person as well. No matter how solid their will, the closer they come to heaven, the more limits God imposes on man. So even iron wills are sure to waver at some point. It is just too arrogant for humans to think that they can always carry out their original intentions. That must have been what my grandfather was thinking, deep down. I'm sure he lost hope many times, since nobody ever recognized the value of his research. Yet he believed in himself, and he believed that someday his work would be appreciated. Maybe that was his wish, rather than reaching heaven. Grandfather realized he wouldn't be able to complete his research, and maybe he was trying to find where he could compromise. Humans can't build a tower that reaches heaven, but the story of the Tower of Babel is still around. It didn't reach heaven, but we will still tell the story of the tower that challenged God. According to the story, the tower was left behind with nobody to work on it. The incomplete tower stayed in that place for a long time, never achieving its goal. But if someone were to see it, they would realize how great it was that someone accepted that challenge and praised their name. I took over the tower from my grandfather and tried to make it reach heaven, but I ended up succumbing to the same fate. And if it's going to be destroyed anyway, I will try to destroy it myself. What am I doing anyway? If I hadn't tried to continue Grandfather's research, his work on Hinamizawa syndrome would have remained forever. Even if it was an empty tower that nobody ever visited, if somebody did come by, they would praise whoever attempted that challenge. They would have praised my grandfather. But I took over his work, and I built the tower even closer to heaven, which made God angry. And now the tower is now going to be destroyed. The tower will become a pile of rubble. When the Irie Institute is shut down, all of its records will be destroyed. My grandfather's wish for his work to be appreciated by someone will never be granted. I tried to make my grandfather an eternal existence, yet I ended up making that an impossibility. How can I call myself Mio Takano? Instead of inheriting the 1, 2, 3 from my grandfather and continuing the count to 3, 4, I reduced it all to 0. If it wasn't for me, my grandfather's work would have remained an empty tower. It would have stayed in this world forever. But I ruined it. I did that. I can feel myself sweating. The sweat reminds me that I've done something inexorable. When did I make a mistake? Where did I go wrong? It wasn't when I came here. It was before that. I started to walk down the wrong path long before that. If I put myself in my grandfather's spot, I know. My grandfather was working on a great challenge. He built a mighty tower, and it was supposed to continue to stand there and wait for someone to appreciate it. Grandfather definitely said he wanted his work to be valued by someone, even after his death. But I misunderstood. Somewhere along the way, I made a wrong turn. I misinterpreted Grandfather's wish, and I ruined it. I ruined everything. I tried to make him an eternal existence, yet I destroyed him. Grandfather built an eternal tower, yet I raised it. Where did I make a mistake? What went wrong? It's obvious! My grandfather counted to 3, and with that, it was complete. I simply tried to do more with addition, and everything collapsed. And now, all of it is ruined! I shouldn't have tried to count to 4. I shouldn't have done anything. Besides, Grandfather didn't even ask me to continue his research. A little girl shouldn't play in this dark study. Go outside and play with your friends. I remember my grandfather telling me things like that. But I refused, and I stayed in the study so I could help him. And eventually, he stopped telling me to play outside, and just enjoyed having my company while he worked. But when we first met, he used to say things like that. Then, what? Living with Grandpa was the first mistake I made? It wasn't. Then what? When I escaped the orphanage, I shouldn't have called Grandpa. Yes, you should have. I shouldn't have found a 10-yen coin. I shouldn't have asked Grandpa to help me. Now I remember. I know where I belong. A noise of something metal striking something else is getting closer. It's getting closer and closer. I'm not allowed to fall asleep. I wasn't asleep. I just had my eyes closed. That's all. Sorry.
ごめんなさい。気をつけます。ごめんなさい。
Don't kick! Don't kick! I'm afraid of the metal sound. Please don't kick it. I'm not being kicked, but the noise is kicking me. So please don't kick. Please don't kick the metal fence. Please. My body is getting cracked. I think my body is getting cracked. All the dirty, itchy, and painful things soak into those cracks, and the filth and prickling feel horrible. It's soaking into my chest, gathering together. I desperately try to resist so that it won't touch my heart. But the dirtiness, itching draw together more and more. My whole chest is soaked, and soon enough my face will be swallowed. Even drowning this dirtiness and itching, I desperately hold on to my breath, so that at least my heart won't be soaked with it. I can't hold my breath any longer. I drown in an ocean of muck. And yet, As I'm taking on the muck, my heart desperately struggles not to be tainted by it, to rise above it until my heart, too, sinks into the sea of grime. Only creatures that have lived on land will gasp and suffer the pain of drowning as they long to return to dry land. Creatures that have always lived in the ocean never drown. Grandpa won't come help me. That is the best thing for me and him both. I am See? When I stop struggling, there is no more noise. I don't have to hear that scary metal noise. Is it a roar or a yell? I needed to borrow strength to scream in order to come back to the present world. My body's all sweaty. It feels dirty, itchy, and painful. It reminds me of that day. I can feel welts coming on as the sweat crawls down my skin. No, it's just a delusion. It can't be itchy, because all that is long over. I take a bath every day. I scrub my body until it turns raw and red. So not even the slightest drop of that horrible filth could possibly remain. I can't help it. I remember the filth. I can only get rid of it by scratching my arms so hard it leaves marks. I can't get rid of the itching. I can't get rid of the filth. Of course I can't. I am a filthy existence. Grandpa should never have saved someone like me. Meeting me made him unhappy. That's not true, and you know it. I shouldn't have existed. I shouldn't have been born. I should have stayed inside that metal fence and spent my whole life there. I need to go back inside it. I should have never left. That place is where I belong. Corner me with that horrible metal noise. Crush me with that filth, itchiness, and pain. And then kill me. So I'll never meet Grandpa. Is that your wish? Yes. Much like those left behind at the top of Babel's crumbling tower. Or Icarus, unable to reach heaven only to fall. That is my final wish. Bring me back inside that metal fence. And give me back the fate that's suitable for my filthy existence. The wish of a liar will never come true. But I'm not a liar. You have spoken your true wish once. Yet you have yet to realize that's your greatest wish. And I cannot grant that wish just yet. Are you saying that's the punishment we sinful humans face for challenging God? You should already know. The strength of your desire is what creates the future. You lack that strength. Are you saying I haven't tainted myself enough? Will even the gates of hell remain shut for someone not fully committed like me?
リカさん、さとこちゃん。
How is it possible for me to feel so bad for someone and yet condemn them so much at the same time? I gotta hand it to you, Takano. You really stir a lot of strong and mixed feelings in me. Jesus Christ.
容体はいかがですか？私です。入江です。
As Akasaka had warned me, I have to be careful. Akasaka-san opened the door silently.
お疲れ様です。外は賑やかですね。
明日のお祭りの準備で大にぎわいです。これは模擬店部会さんからお見舞いにと持たされたかき氷です。せっかくなのでいただきましょう。
Yum.
これはありがたい。いただきましょ
う。Akasaka-san is wearing a t-shirt, but he's still drenched in sweat. All the windows have been shut, and you can't even open the curtains, so it's very hot inside. But even accounting for that, he's still sweating like mad.
すごい汗ですね。確かにこの暑さでは無理もありません。
いえ、トレーニングを少ししていただけです。ドタバタするわけにはいきませんので、もちろん気をつけながらですが、有事があるなしにかかわらず、体は常に臨戦態勢にしておかなければ。
適度な運動は気分転換にもいいですからね。このようなところでずっと緊張を強いられていては精神的にも参ってしまうでしょうに。
いえ、慣れてますから。でも先生の差し入れはとても助かります。
Akasaka-san smiled like a happy child as he ate a strawberry-flavored shaved ice.
何か動きはありますか？富武さんから連絡は？
いえ、まだ何も動きはありません。あ、高野さんが富武さんと連絡がつかないと言っていました。
身の安全のために宿を変えているはずでしたね。勘づかれたのでしょうか？
いえ、そういう不信感を持ってはいないようです。私も写真撮影に飛び回っているのではないかとフォローしています。
怪しまれるのも時間の問題ですね。風向きはどちらにせよ、近いうちに強い入江先生、くれぐれもご用心を。
もちろんですよ。ああ、そうだ。先ほど大石さんにお会いしまして、こんな話が進んでいるので伝えてほしいと頼まれました。
I explained the 48-hour operation to Akasaka-san. Akasaka-san seemed impressed with the notion, especially because I told him it came from the girls.
うまい手ですね。連中に相当の揺さぶりをかけられるでしょう。そのうろたえぶりから富武さんが敵の尻尾をつかめる可能性は十分にあると思います。で、その作戦の指導は？
それは今夜大石さんと皆さんが打ち合わせして決めるようですが、やはり時間はかけられないということで、早ければ明日の早朝には決行するそうです。
そうですね。長い時間臨戦態勢でいるのはかなりの消耗を強いられます。
No freaking kidding.
打てる手があるなら早いうちの方がいい。
赤坂さんがひなみ沢に滞在できる休暇の限界もありますしね。いつまでなんですか？
家内には一応日曜日の深夜には帰ると言いましたが、事情が変わればやむを得ません。幸恵も刑事の妻です。分かってくれると思います。
ここでは奥さんに電話をすることもできませんね。それは辛い役を押し付けてしまったものです。
大丈夫です。新婚時代じゃあるまいし、毎晩電話しなきゃ見下り班ってわけじゃありません。
Although he says that, it's easy to tell Akasaka-san wants to hear the sound of her voice.
赤坂さんの方では何か変化はありましたか？ 何か必要なものがあれば持ってきますので。
Bring me a recording of my wife's voice. That'd be nice.
必要なものは特にありません。変化は難しいところです。何しろ祭りの準備でこれだけの出入りがありますからね。その中に不審な気配が混じり込んでいてもとても私には分かりません。むしろ逆にこの人混みの中にここを監視する敵も混じり込んでいると思って警戒するくらいがちょうどいいでしょ
う。そうですね。そうそう、山犬ですが、やはり赤坂さんがおっしゃったように動き出しているようです。
When I asked Okanogi about their plans, he said he's raising the security level for the days surrounding the festival to take into account the possibility that some criminal might use the 5th year of the curse to target Rika-chan. Bragging now, are we, Okanogi?
現在の状況と一致しますね。まるで明日の祭りに合わせて表も裏も全ての準備が同時に進んでいる気がします。
明日はいろいろな意味で祭りになるとおっしゃるわけですね。
Sure seems that way. If the 48-hour operation gets underway tomorrow morning, it'll be quite the turbulent day. Yes, everything will change, starting tomorrow, June 19th, 1983. A tempestuous day that divides a peaceful world from a tragic one. The fate of the world will change on that day. I finished my secret meeting with Akasaka-sen and left, while calling up to the second floor window, pretending to address the girls. When some villagers saw me do that, they asked how they were doing. They asked me about both girls, which made me very happy. What Oryu-san said yesterday has already spread among the villagers. In other words, the curse of Orishiro-sama may have already lifted, even before tomorrow's festival. If nothing happens tomorrow, then this village is finally free from the cursed and the ghost of the dam conflict. As we prepare for the upcoming battle, I realize the extent of the responsibility we've taken on. But at the same time, that gives me strength. Still here, huh? After greeting officials under the main tent, I ran into Takano-san as I headed back to the clinic. It's unusual for her to be here alone. If Tomotaki-san was with her, I could understand, but she'd never come here by herself. For a moment, I thought maybe she suspected a connection between me and Akasaka-san, but it doesn't seem that way. I'm relieved.
珍しいですね。こんなところでどうされたのですか？
いいえ、別に。
Nothing really. I'm just reliving past traumas to the nth degree while contemplating all my life's choices. You know how it is. Typical whatever day of the week this currently is.
ちょっとした気まぐれの散歩ですわ。
そうですか。今日は気持ちいい風が吹きますからね。散歩も気持ちがいいと思いますよ。
二郎さんもそんな風に誘われて一人で散歩に行っているのかし
ら。Those words have strange nuance to them. Takano-san normally only spends time with Tomotaki-san out of politeness. At least, that's how she's been acting. So when I heard her say that, I was a little surprised.
そうかもしれません。彼は東京の人ですからね。ひなみ沢の自然や空気はとても貴重なものだとわかるのでしょう。
所長、二郎さん、どこに行かれてるかご存知ありません？
Nope!
いえ、存じませんが。はて。
昨べの会合にも欠席してますわね。 他のスタッフが進行してくれたからいいですけど、本来なら二郎さんの役目じゃないんですかしら。職務怠慢でしてよ。
This is going in the wrong direction. Had to change the subject.
まあ彼もたまには羽を伸ばしたいと思うこともあるんじゃないでしょうか。
Please don't sound so nervous. You're gonna start making me nervous.
彼にもあるんですよ、一人になりたい時が。あなたと同じにね。
そうですわね、私ったら。
I think that went well. Not sure it did. She didn't ask about Tomotaki-san after that. When I look around, I can imagine how lavish the festival is going to be tomorrow. Nagashi is the biggest festival of the year around here. It's grown in scale ever since the dam conflict ended, and this year, the village festival is hitting a peak. I'm sure villagers of all ages will enjoy themselves tomorrow. Takano-san and I overlooked that heartwarming scene.
明日は楽しいお祭りになるでしょうね。
ええ、楽しい祭りになりますわね。
The conversation was very ironic. We both meant something different as we spoke.
祭りの幕開けが楽しみですね。
ええ、楽しい祭りの幕開けですわ。
I noticed an indescribably bitter smile on her face.
明日は晴れるといいですね。せっかくここまで準備して雨で中止なんて気の毒です。
ここまで大々的に準備した盛大なお祭りですもの。雨天ごときで中止になるわけありませんわ。
そうですね。明日はどんな天気になろうとも必ず祭り。
ええ、盛大なお祭りになりますわよ、きっと。
Ushi-sen had agreed to participate. In other words, he had given us the green light.
やるね。さぞや話をまとめるのは難しかったでしょう。
いや、それがね、私が呆れるくらいあっさり皆さん船に乗ってくれちゃいまして。いや、若さっていいなあ。私一人だけがうじうじとみっともないったらありゃしないです。もう後には引けません。
No, we can't.
この大石くらん、切るならど真ん中、最後まで突っ張りますよ。
Ushi-sen was always a man with great presence. He seems pretty reliable when he's that determined. This will work. This operation will be a success. The enemy is unthinkably strong, but we're going on the offensive first. It's like in sumo, right? No matter how huge the opponent may be, there's a chance the entire match can be settled in an instant with a quick shift in stance during the opening rush.
ね、リカ。味方が多いというのはこんなにも心強いことなのです。
もうあんたに口を挟む気はないわ。
Good girl.
ほんの数日前まで私は運命に屈しかけていたというのに、それから数日を経ただけでここまで変わるなんて、これは本当に運命をひっくり返せるかもしれない。
リカ、そんな弱い気持ちではダメなのです。
そうね、ひっくり返せるかもじゃな、ひっくり返す、勝つ。私たちは運命を打ち破る。
と なれば次に重要なのはトラップのタイミングですわね。
タイミングも何もねえだろ。即時発動だろ。今夜にはリカちゃんが姿を消してから48時間が成立する。待てば待つほど相手を利するんだからすぐに仕掛けるべきだと思うぜ。
I agree with Keiichi on this one, as a matter of fact.
そうだね。慎重さは今回に限り相手を利するだけというのは同感。守りは慎重であるべきだけど攻めは大胆であるべきだと思う。ケイイチとメガの太鼓判がもらえればとても心強いのです。
Don't forget my seal.
どうですかみんな。
私は依存ないわ。もう覚悟は決まってる。いつだって OK よ。
木はすでに熟してる。どう見るサトコ。
急ぐのはもちろんですけど今すぐというのは早すぎますわ。
So how much longer then?
相手の隙を突くならもう少し冷静に引き金を絞るべきでございましたよ。
Alright, I'll get the oven mitts.
奇襲なら夜だろ。今を除いて最高のタイミングがあるのかよ。
まあ落ち着きな。サトコの言うのも一理あるし、ケイちゃん奇襲の定番は野襲。でもね、ほらこうして深夜でも血気盛んでしょ。野襲が効果的だったのは電気がなかった時代の話だよ。近代戦では深夜は奇襲になり得ない。もっと最適な時間帯がある。
奇襲により適した時間帯があるのですか？
Well, I guess we're about to find out.
わかったわ。幼稚の反対。朝がけね。
ほほう、難しい言葉をご存知ですね。確かに人間、どの時間に一番電話がもらいたくないかと言ったら深夜よりは明け方です。何しろ寝ぼけているところでは正常な判断ができませんからね。
Tactically speaking, that's actually quite smart.
夜明け前の奇襲。いいタイミングだと思う。
Then you should all go to bed early.
私もそれが一番効果的だと思う。高野さんの性格から考えて5年目のたたりを装う形で何かのアクションを起こす可能性は極めて大だと思う。なら今夜はそれの前夜になる。
前夜ほど流行る心を抑え十分な睡眠をとろうと思うのが人というものなのです。
I agree with the horn dog.
見えてきましたわね。最高のトラップタイミングが。
夜明けの奇襲か。くわ、なんだよそれ。男として生まれたからには一度はやってみたいシチュエーション。
Well, let's do it.
燃えてきた。
Once the damn sun rises, of course.
前原さんもうちの連中と同じですね。いや、ということは男で燃え上がっていないのは私だけってことですかね。
Then psych yourself up, man.
やれやれ。
Raise your voice. There we go.
ならいいですね。明日の早朝に48時間作戦を発動します。これで敵がどう動くかです。相手を撹乱し、その出方に合わせて攻撃する。これは遊撃作戦ですよ。
よし。部長、園崎美音の名において48時間作戦の発動を命ず。結婚は明朝4時。一気に慌ただしくなる可能性が高い。総員は何があっても即応できるよう心身のコンディションを最高で保つこと。そして忘れるな、木南沢の後輩はこの一戦にあり。敵の陰謀を許せば村が滅ぶかもしれないんだよ。
けっ、んなこと我が部の目が黒いうちには許すかってんだ。
さあ相手がどう出るか。鬼が出るか大蛇が出るか。 動きが起こります。例えるならこれは微震、大きな津波が押し寄せる前の予兆のよう。そうだね、レナもその微震を感じてるよ。さあ、その津波を起こしてやろう。
Indeed we will. Get your surfboards.
飲み込まれるのは村か連中か。
俺たちはその波で波乗りとしゃれ込んでやるぜ。
This 48-hour operation will be a shock to the enemy. They'll panic, their pace will be off, and they're guaranteed to slip up somehow. We don't know how they're going to slip up, but just knowing that they will and preparing ourselves to act gives us the full advantage. We're surrounding our enemies on this huge game board that is Hinamizawa. This game, this festival, will start with our siege. Come on, we're ready! We're ready for June 19th, 1983. Hey, Rika. Have this many emotions ever gathered on this day? Actually, there are always this many emotions in this world. There are always countless numbers of them gathered on this forgotten June 19th. We just never realized it, because we always looked at the world subjectively. There are so many people in this world, and each of them has very important emotions. Those countless feelings are collecting together and giving shape to this world, this fragment. With this many emotions, what kind of world will we see? What kind of fragments will be generated? Who will win? Takano or us? The time to find out is now. Let's open it. Let's open the door to June 19th of 1983. This is it, isn't it? Next time we come back, our battle is officially starting. I am hyped! I will get my pillow fort ready and my canned beans in case this ends up going on for several days. And as for weapons, well, I'm sure flaming pitchforks will do nicely. Anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and end things here. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Higurashi When They Cry Kai Chapter 8. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time for the Battle of Fate. Take care.